Good evening. This is your host, David Murphy, along with my co-host, Brother Satawi Jaheed and Brother Onri Hector. We also have several guests that will be on the call tonight. My co-host, Mr. Satawi Jaheed. Mr. Satawi Jaheed, are you available, sir?
Yes, I am. I'm available, and as we do each week, we come on these airways. We start with a reading from Daily Motivations for African American Success, written by Mr. Dennis Kimbrough, who's also the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. And the reading for today, January the 20th, a dime a dozen. Quote, excellence is to do a common thing in an uncommon way, unquote. Booker T. Washington, educator. Reading for today. There's so much talk about excellence today. Ours is a society obsessed with excellence. Are you striving to be your best? Are you committed to excellence, or are you average? Though each of us is average in different areas of our lives, how great is it to be excellent? And make no mistake about it, we can all be excellent. Successful individuals like the famed educator Booker T. Washington encourage us to do our best. Success may involve talent, explained the celebrated choreographer Alvin Ailey, but excellence involves you. If you are to move ahead as a people, if we are to move ahead as a people, one former U.S. Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, we must strive for the highest standards. Achievers know the difference between average and excellence. Excellence means standing up to life, living your life for a cause greater than yourself, so future generations will know that you played a role. The successful are remembered for their contributions, and the failures are remembered because they tried, but the average are just forgotten. Strive to make excellence your standard. A commitment to excellence is the antidote to mediocrity. You need only to stand up and choose your personal excellence. This act alone will guarantee your success. Today I will strive for and accept nothing less than excellence. And that's our reading for today. And I just want to, again, thank everybody for being on this podcast today. And thank everybody who celebrated Dr. King's birthday today.
All right.
Me and my family, the other day, we watched the documentary on Dr. King, and it was just interesting reliving those moments and just seeing all the trials and tribulations that he went through and still stand up for excellence. So, he had an excellent character. And again, just want to wish everybody a happy Dr. Martin Luther King birthday. And at this time, I'm going to turn the podcast over to our other co-host, Brother Onri Hector.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing today?
Fantastic.
Great.
Sir.
It's great. My name is Mr. Onri Hector. I'm from the Onri Hector Show. And today's topic is a good topic that we're definitely going to continue to talk about. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about conflict resolution. And we were talking about different issues that are affecting our community. And that Mr. Brandon Booth was giving some resources to help us because we all need some type of mediation. We all need help. And today's guest is a friend of mine, another friend, a long time coming friend. I remember him well. He is a good friend of mine. He's from Rehobeth Church of God in Christ Jesus Apostolic, where he serves as a member. He's a minister, Sunday school teacher, praise and worship leader, and he's married. His lovely wife of 5 years and his beautiful children. He has owned several businesses and has the heart of a true entrepreneur. He's a very good friend of mine, and he knows how to deal with real issues, and he deals with the youth in ministry. I'd like to welcome to the show Minister Christopher Allen. Everybody, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello. It's an honor for Philip fan to be on the National Black Unity News, man. It's an honor.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, man. I remember we had some serious conversations some time past. I remember we were sitting down at Emmanuel Church off of Walker Avenue in Lock Raven, and me and you had a serious conversation. You were telling me some things that God was showing you, pretty much what you wanted to do and how you wanted to carry out, which brung me to think about you a couple of weeks ago, which is why you're here today, and to and just the conversation that I had with a friend of mine, Brandon Booth, about conflict resolution. I thought about you too, about dealing with issues here in Baltimore. I felt like and I feel this way, that we all have a responsibility to make every black man accountable. And like I said last time, accountability is not accountability unless you're being held accountable for something. And which brings us to the topic of discussion, the real responsibility of the black man. And, I just thank you for being on the show. And we're going to just jump right into it. When I was talking last time about just the issues in Baltimore, some people even came up to me asking me, what do you think the real problem is in Baltimore? Do you think we need to make more basketball courts, more centers for the children? And I told them, I said, there is really no use to doing that. It all starts in the home, because you got to get these parents on board to get these children out here to be where they need to be.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I talked about the issues in Baltimore, the killing. I said Baltimore breaks the city record for killing per capita in 2019. I was talking about over 300 killings annual per capita homicide records. This is ridiculous. And every time I turn around, there's a lack of responsibility. So let's jump into this. I wanna know every
Well,
man's input.
the reason why it's a lack of responsibility is because it's been ingrained in us from generations to lack responsibility. And what do you mean by that, Minister Chris? What I mean is that, okay, first of all, you look at America as a whole, and from its roots. Its roots was based on and built on slaves. 30% of quote unquote Americans in the beginning stages of America were slaves. And those 30 to 33%, whatever the case may be, did all the labor, did everything, while you have the 70 and above getting rich. And not only and we're not just talking about getting rich, but we're talking about also having opportunities.
Right.
And this is how you get generational wealth. And not only that, so you had this generation, where the black man was considered nothing but property, nothing but less than. And we were stripped from the beginning of our God-given rights, because we are the true people of God. And even I was doing a little documentation research, and I was looking at the flood when Noah, when the great flood came, and only Noah's Ham, Shem, and Japheth were, and his family were saved, and they had to repopulate the earth. And I was looking at all where from the three, where they spread out in the earth. And it said that Ham was dark, like a stallion, dark as a raven, so you can see how dark that was. Shem was dark and comely, and the Hebrew word of it, I can't remember the Hebrew word of it, but it meant comely, meaning like a hardwood look, or like a oak, bronze,
Right.
A bronze look. And Japheth, when Noah blessed him, it said he became white. And that's where you get the Germans, the Britons, the Norsemen from, all of that culture, the Caucasus Mountains, all that. But I digress. But you have in generationals to where, like I said, that it's in the mentality to lack the responsibility, because now they have taken the mind. It's change of the mind. And what I mean by change of the mind is Now, if you look at the young black men, what are they influenced by? First of all, they have no father figures in their life.
Right.
They have no father figure in their life, and that goes back to family. That goes back to family, where now it's common to have babies and abandon them and not take care of them. You have many fatherless black young men out here, and it's because some of the fathers that are having these babies have not had fathers themselves.
That's an issue.
So that's why I say it becomes a generational curse, because you have fatherless fathers becoming fathers.
Okay, let me jump in here, gentlemen. Uh, you know, a lot of things like you just mentioned, sir, is generation has been passed down because when you create a condition and whoever that was perpetrated upon, they pass those values down to their children and vice versa, and it goes from generation to generation. But there's a lot of factors into condition of the black man today.
That's true.
It's from generation to generation, but it's a concerted effort to keep us in a certain condition. See, society has a responsibility as well, and when you create conditions for one group of people, and then have privileges for another group of people.
Right.
And when you put people in certain situations, I don't care what color you may be, what race or what ethnicity you come from, is this. Right. When the conditions are a certain way, it comes to a point of survival.
Exactly.
And when you have let me just get, like I say, on this show, sir, I say it every time we had this part, we like to keep it real. We get to the heart of the matters.
That's how we do it.
And so this is where I'm going at. Here we are in this multifaceted country where, based on certain statistics, the black man is at the bottom of the barrel.
Of course.
And then there is, from the government, from international, I mean, it's just not here in this country, but all over the world, these kind of conditions takes place. And it's a mindset to see God. When we started off, we were speaking of God, and God created all men equal. Men has a problem, always will.
Exactly.
And like I tell people, often they can say we have to operate on several different laws. We have God laws, we have natural laws, and then we have man laws. And we have to live and operate in all three.
That's right.
So when the conditions have been passed down from generation to generation, then when you got government, look at the school system.
Exactly.
I'm 68 years old, and I recall the day when I was a child, when they had these programs, what they call social services, welfare, whatever you want to call it. They would take the man out the house in order for the women to even get benefits. They were separating families way back then. They did it from slavery. They would take men and women, take their children from them. And so that's a powerful mindset to put a man into.
Now we're getting real.
That's a powerful mindset.
That's to break the spirit.
Right. And the spirit has been broken on many occasions because, like I said, that's been passed down. And then you got government. Government comes in and because government.
My brother, we talk about the responsibility of the real black man. So is it not our responsibility to stand up and say, okay, I'm going to break this generational curse. I'm not going to be okay, even though for example, I am a statistic. I am 31 years old.
Okay.
I never knew my father. I grew up in a single mother home. My mother got married, had a stepfather who was in an abusive relationship with my mother. I fought the guy on multiple occasions to where it was at one point in time to where my stepfather called the police on my mother, and it was a whole situation to where I had to move out the house and live with my grandfather and my grandmother because it was no longer conducive to me to
Thank
be
the
in
Lord
that
for them.
environment.
Thank the Lord.
Yes, sir. On that same, let me ask you something. Like I said, we're gonna keep it real.
But see, this is the thing though. So now that I'm married and have kids of my own and have a wife, isn't it not my responsibility to not okay? Even though I came from that, I can break that. Because
right.
not only that though, but divorce which is high in the black community. If our people are really getting married nowadays, because now they're just shacking up and just having babies and just like, oh, this is my baby father, or we've been together just a hair, or whatever the case may be, and not really having the institution of marriage, which was
That's the
God
truth.
given.
That's right.
So is it not as a black man, my responsibility to break that cycle? Saying, okay, now my wife, she had a son prior to me meeting her, and that is my son. That's not my stepson. That's my son.
That's right.
Go ahead, buddy.
That's
Go ahead,
right,
man.
brother.
That's it. That's it.
When I was little, the first time I tried to call my stepfather father, he told me no, call me Mr. So. I'm not gonna put him, but he said call me Mr. So and so. He said don't call me daddy, don't call me father, call me Mr. So and so.
Wow.
Now I was I was probably like 10, 11 years old. Me not going up to having a father, and it's crazy because in the back of my mind always that because before my mother got married, she took me to a room and she said, Christopher, I'm going to marry this person. How do you feel about that? And I looked her in her eyes. And so basically, she was giving me the power and the authority to say, if you don't want me to marry this guy, I'm not going to marry him.
Right.
But I saw the look in her eyes and the happiness in her eyes and the joy in her eyes where I said, if you wanted to marry him, mommy, I'm fine. Go and marry him.
Okay.
Now look at the pressure of that being of a young man giving that power to making his mother happy. And at that time, that's all he wanted to do because he's trying to think, oh, if she marries him, I can finally have a father. I can finally have a family. And isn't that not what all young black kids want? Is just to have a family?
That's what I wanted. I remember when I was younger, I was taken away from my mother at 12. My mother stopped raising me at 12, and I was living in foster care after home after home. There was no man in the house. I grew up with a bunch of women. I mean, I thank the Lord for my grandmother, and I thank the Lord for my mom who tried to do her best, but I was in foster care. No real role model, no map to look at, no blueprint to look at as a man because I wasn't stable enough. But I thank God for my uncle who brought me into his home at 17 years old and started displaying to me of what a man is supposed to be. First of all, he showed me accountability. That was number one. That I need to be accountable for everything that I do. And number one, knowing exactly who I am. In order to know who I am, I need to know where I came from, what kind of lineage. And he taught those principles to me. And not only did he teach those things to me, but he was a pure example. He showed me. And a lot of things I learned by sight. And I thank God for that. And I think that's where it all starts at. It starts with, I'm just talking on the man. I'm not dealing with the women right now. And some might say differently, and I might hear feedback for this. And that's okay. This is a show that we keep it real, right?
That's right.
So I'm going to say this. As women, and I thank God for women, you do your part being a single parent with these man-child. But there's one thing that a woman cannot do is teach a man how to be a man.
Right.
Because you are
That's
not
right.
a man. He needs that male role model in his life. And that's a vice versa for a woman or a man with his child. However, with the female part, there was this book, and I've been reading. It's called 52 Reasons Why Kids Need Their Father. And in that book, out of all of the chapters that I was reading, one only stuck out the most for me. One of the reasons is so their father can help their children beat the odds. What are the odds of a young man or a young black woman or any just man or woman, period? If the father was around, what are the odds of them getting into half of the stuff that we see people get into without fathers? Pregnancy, drugs, alcohol, depression, issues. And it all comes down to focusing on the one narrative. Where are the men? Hello. Where
Okay,
are the men?
let me jump on this real quick. Like I hear you brothers, like I say, y'all have one, not a great upbringing. And my brother's on the line with me right now, and we in our 60s and 70s. And
we need you, man. We need to hear you. We need to hear you guys. I want to hear it.
And we was it was eight of us. My father, good man. Society had beat him down to an alcoholic.
That's right.
And he chose a way out, but he was a good man.
No
But another man stood up by the name of Isaiah Thomas Ames. Not only did he take my mother, he took all eight of us in and loved us dearly. And so I, but then I seen the other men, the men on the corner. I see some men will come up to me, come here, boy, let me help you out. Had all of these types of conflicts of men, but there was always some men around that I had admiration for, or which aspired to be like. Maybe good or bad, but they you get what you have. But at the same time, even though this good man came in there and treated me so good, but I rebelled against him because he was not my natural father.
Okay.
And because I was hurt by my father leaving, I took it out on him. Good as he was treating me, when as soon as he tried to, don't do this, you're not my father. This, that, and I gave him blues, the blues for that. But then again, internally, like you said, I ended up being a teenage alcoholic.
Yeah.
Following my father's footsteps, like I say. But again, that was yesterday.
Right.
And again, wait, let me just finish this thought. Let me finish this thought. Let me finish this, gentlemen. And so what I'm trying to say, like you said, the subject is the responsibility of a black man. And so after many years of trials and tribulations, hurt and self-inflicting pains and everything like this, there gonna come a time in every man's life. And this is a God thing, where man has to be accountable to, when he has to step up in front of God.
Speak the truth.
And when he goes before God, he has to come in honesty and truth. You can't hide or you can't cope from God. And so you stand in God, help me, because most men, 99.9% of men, black men, had been abused in some form or another, even by society or by our own family members or out there, even school children, whatever. We have been hurt and damaged. And that stuff carries on to hurt people, hurts people. That's what happens. Right. But again, when you stand before God, and you have to be accountable for yourself, you have to be accountable for your family, so you have to make a decision in life. So since we know there's a lot of issues that can cause men to go astray, let's talk about how we can have some type of solution so that
that's right.
Now we're talking.
So that listening in, so that we can say how we can help ourselves to be more accountable.
Can I jump in for a second, gentlemen?
Yes,
please?
Sir.
This is Dempsey Murphy, y'all, and you guys are absolutely right. But I want to share something with y'all that I learned not too long ago is that every one of us have a woe with me story. I have not yet any person on this planet who are halfway successful didn't go back to when they were not where they are today, okay?
That's
and
right.
that's a fact, Jack. So the deal is this. No matter where you come from, no matter how your young situation was, it's ugly. Take my word for it. You may have had all the money in the world, but when you're growing up, there's a lot of stuff that you do not get, even with access. Now, and it's worse on the black man simply because he has less access. And so one of the things that we have to do now is what David was just saying. We know we had a hard story, and our stories in the future may not be as bright as some others. But what we can do is take one moment at a time and do the right thing. And this is the word I want to use, y'all, banking. BANKING. If you don't put them in the bank, guess what you get out of
Can't
it?
deposit anything.
That's right. So
Can't
in
take
other
nothing
words, that's right. And especially with now with the ladies online and everything else, I want you brothers to hear this because this is the most powerful thing that I ever heard when it comes down to relationships between a man and a woman. And the man needs to make sure that this happens. He needs to make sure that this happens. In his household, first of all, he has to have a kitchen table or a table. And you sit your kids down and your wife down or whatever, and y'all talk. Number one.
That's number one. I like that.
Number one. That's the first thing. You got to have an understanding within that household.
That's right.
Number two, when it comes down to banking, this is the most important thing. In a relationship, I have found that there will be always a problem. The bill ain't paid on time, or there's no money for the bill. The kid got sick, or somebody died in the family, whatever the case may be. If you do not put something into that relationship, you won't get anything out of it.
That's right.
So watch this, gentlemen, and this is where the banking comes in. When society needs something and you fulfill that need, you're banking into society. When your wife or your girlfriend or your child needs something or wants something and you're cordial, and even if you don't give it to them and listen, just listen, it makes all of the difference in the world. So in other words, what I'm trying to tell you guys is that I know for a fact that a man's relationship with society is, especially a black man, is really, really horrible. But it's him, that individual, who has to understand who he, in this case, she too, he or she is, and in turn, do what they're supposed to do to get them from not where they're from to where they're going. And concentrate on that. That's my speech. But remember banking, gentlemen, that banking thing is the most important thing in a household relationship, especially with your woman. You know, get her a cup of tea. Just do it. You understand what I'm saying? You'd be surprised at when the problems come up. You know, I mean, you have something that you can lean back on and feel not necessarily good about, but you'll keep her in what they call or society in check because you have contributed. There is something that they won't leave, society or your woman won't leave you. I'll put it like that.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Fair enough. And brothers, I appreciate all that input. And because at the end of the day, we young brothers need the older generation. And that's the thing. We think that sometimes we can do it all ourselves because we're so young, we're so energetic. And,
that's true.
And sometimes we believe that, we know it all. but the whole time we don't. And,
I'm still learning.
We don't. And one thing I've been blessed to have is I've sat under my grandfather. And
Bishop
my grandfather
Allen.
is Bishop Allen. He's the bishop of the Rehobeth Church of God in Christ Jesus Apostolic. And one thing he's always taught me is that honor the hoary head. He always tell me, look, I've been there, I've done that. You think you see me doing this, you doing that, but I've lived life. I've lived life. And with life comes experience. And with experience comes knowledge.
That's right. That's right.
Wise man.
That's right.
A very wise man. And I've taken that knowledge and I've implemented, like I said, now that I have a family of my own, I've implemented that, and this is how I perceive that the responsibility of the black man is God first, family, then the community.
That's true.
You're on point.
You on point, brother. Say that one more time, because people need to hear that. Just once again, everybody, there people are listening live right now on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and other sources of outlet. This needs to be said. Say that one more time.
The real responsibility of a black man is God first, family, and then the community.
That's it.
And you know what, sir? And I'm so appreciative of you sharing that information, because, see, like I said, we all identified that it's rough coming up, you know. But you had the wisdom as a young man to glean, to listen to a wise man, a wise black man who set you down because he loved you evidently. And he shared information with you. And he's 100% right, because you have to live like. See, I was your age one time. I was a teenager. One time you couldn't tell me nothing. You know, I don't care how good the wisdom was. I wouldn't accept it, because I thought I knew it all. But as time went on, when I was in my 30s, when I was your age, you know, things begin to, wait a minute, it ain't all what I thought it was. You know, things start evolving. And as you get older, not only do you have children, but then you start having children's children.
And
you know, and then you say, well, there's another generation. So you actually treat your grandchildren different from you treat your own children.
That's right.
Because, you know, like I said, you get a second chance to kind of get it right this time, you know, through experience.
David Murphy.
Yes, sir.
You know what? You said that you was when you was young, right? And you was saying that nobody couldn't even tell you nothing. You know, just last week, I was, you know, everybody worked for the MTA, the Metro Subway System. I was down on the platform, and, you know, it was this young man, probably in his 20s, maybe mid-20s, smoking a cigarette. I walked up to him, because you're not allowed to smoke on MTA property, especially within 25 feet of any state building. So, and I let him know. I said, sir, you know, you're not allowed to smoke on the platform. And you know what he said, man? He looked at me and was like, is you the police?
Okay.
I said, does it matter? He said, are you the police? And I said, no. What difference does it make? The law is the law. He said, well, if you ain't no police, then you need to get up out of my face. I said, oh, okay. I said, okay. All right. So, you know, of course, I called the police. Okay, all right. Okay, but the point that I'm trying to make is that it's a shame that people have no regard or no respect for the laws, and that's one of the things as a black man being responsible in community. Like you said, there are 3 laws, right? We're talking about God's law, the natural law, and there's man's laws. How you cannot be a good example unless you follow the example of what's going on. You have to be the example. That's one of the many responsibilities of anybody, particularly with a black man. I told you, accountability is not accountability unless you be accountable for something. You are accountable to uphold a level of yourself as a black man. People are looking at you. They want us to fail. There are people out there who want us to see us fall. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is we don't want to take advice from anybody, because what? Because I'm 7 times whatever. You know, because I'm now, you know, whatever, and I got this penis or whatever you want to call it. That makes me a man. Just because you got something hanging between your leg don't make you no man. It don't make you no man. You being a man is being responsible. That's one thing. But that's just my little 2 cents.
Well, you know, again, you know, and like I say, that young man, whoever he may be, like I say, a lot of us had went to that stage where, like I say, we thought we knew it all. We were big, bad, enough to do anything we thought we could do. But see, that's when it comes to a natural law. See, if you don't have guidance, you'll run amok, you'll go astray. Because if you don't have guidance, you don't know how to act or what to do. There's nobody there to teach you or hold you responsible for it. And that's why I say, man, you know, when it comes to a point in time, you know, wisdom don't come on age. You can be a teenager with wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And people are watching you, your children. your neighbors. That's accountability because they watch, they mimic you. They say somebody had to teach him that, to be disrespectful. He had to go out there and say, well, first of all, I'm smoking, I'm hurting my body, and this, that. I know I'm doing wrong, this, that. And he got when he asked what he said, well, are you the police? So he don't respect another black man, but he does respect the law.
He doesn't respect himself.
That's right.
He does not respect himself.
Mm-hmm. So
okay, this is Fran. I need to jump in here.
I know you do. Come on, Fran.
Oh yeah, I want to get. They said there were women on this call.
I held it for a long time.
Come on now, let it out.
Mark the day on the calendar. Look, there's a few words that are coming to me. First,
preach it.
You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Everybody can agree that you just don't know what you don't know. If you are a baby and ain't nobody taught you anything, you're too young to know anything, nobody's taught you anything, and then you go have a baby. You a baby having a baby that can't teach the baby nothing for the baby to take forward either.
That's
so
true.
We have all these children running around in our community, male children and female children, that were born by children who knew nothing about what they were doing when they got the child in the first place.
So my question to you now is, I have a question for the young lady.
Wait, I'm not finished. So there's that part, okay? Babies having babies, you can't teach somebody something that no one ever taught you. You can't go chasing off to learn what you don't know you need to learn. How do you figure out what that is if you don't know what it is? That's the first thing. The second thing is there's a whole lot of things going on in our community that lack reciprocity. You can't ask something from somebody that you aren't willing to give to somebody. You got a lot of people in our community who's asking for our kids to be respectful, but they're not demonstrating respect.
That's true.
They're asking the kids to act like they got some sense, but then they go off and act like they are completely an idiot. Then you got the people who you're showing your children how to be by letting them watch you be.
That's true.
Not by what you say to them, not by what you teach them. Because remember, you was a baby that was born from a baby who didn't know nothing to teach you. So now you can't teach the other one. So you know what? They got to learn by what you say to them because you don't know what to say to them. They're going to learn by watching you because you're trying to impress somebody down the street, around the corner, up the block who don't care nothing about you.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of issues that all come together to point at why we are the way we are, and the solution to get to it is not just black men need to take responsibility for black men. That is true. We all, not just black men. Sisters need to stop laying down with people they already know cannot buy them a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk. What is going on?
Well, you said he ain't got 2 pennies to rub together. What?
Okay. I mean, if they gonna have a nickel and a dime, they got to at least come with some pennies first.
Woo.
Come on. But I'll get on. I got some stuff to say about the sisters, but I'll leave that alone for right now.
Next week's show.
Yeah.
Fran, Fran, you're absolutely correct. And this is what I'm going to tell you, all you guys, is that most of our problems that we have in our black community boils down to a couple of things. Most of them is a spiritual thing, but the second most important thing is a financial, monetary thing. Most of our problems, money can solve. And when I say that, if you were to understand what it's like to raise a child in today's society with good health care,
keep it real, brother.
That's right, and access to information and all those other things. I don't care who's raising that child. That child will have a better shot at life. I don't care who's raising it. And so it's not the child being born. It's what happens when that child comes out of that fallopian tube, okay? It's what happens when that child gets into our society. And if you don't take care of that child when they're young, we're going to take care of that child when they're older.
I'm sorry, I can back it up a step before that. Before you even get to that. What about the simple 5-letter word? We all do it every day.
She there?
We make a choice.
Right.
We either choose to get out of bed or we choose to stay in bed. If you choose to stay in bed, you can avoid a whole bunch of stuff because you don't go nowhere, you don't see nobody, you don't say nothing, you don't do nothing, and you're good. Except nothing changes. Nothing changes in your world or in your life. So if you want to play it safe, okay, stay home and stay in bed. But don't be complaining about nothing in your world is changing because you're making a choice to not do anything to make the change. If you choose to get out of bed, then don't choose to go outside with no clothes on. You got to get dressed before you go. What do you dress yourself with? You dress yourself up with the armor.
Uh-huh.
Before your feet hit the floor, the first thing you should be doing is thanking God that He opened your eyes.
True.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for this day to get it right. Another chance to get it right. Lord, can you put 2 things in my head that you need me to do today so I will have something of purpose to go after? Because if you leave it to me, I'm going to do some dumb stuff because that's what I choose. That free will thing ain't all it's cracked up to be.
And you know what, Fran? You know, that bring me to memories of, when the question was, am I my brother's keeper?
Mm-hmm.
And each one teach one. Because there's a lot of unfortunate people coming up, like Fran said, with who were never taught anything, babies raising babies. And so they had no wisdom or no knowledge of what to do or how to do it. But then there's the responsibility, because like I say, there's the individual, then there's the family, then there's extended. It takes the village that we say.
That's right, to raise that child.
That would be true.
In the Bible says, for family without a man, the uncles and everybody else supposed to step up, step in.
That's right.
And sometimes we have to go back to basics. From the original thought is this: I am you and you are me. See, those children running around, this is my thought as wisdom set in. When I see a child go astray, I take responsibility for that because maybe it's something I could have done or should have done. Maybe there's a program that we could put into place. But not, like I say, you're only an individual. But like I say, it takes the village. Now, with enough village members out there, because if they can't get to me and they can't see me, they're on the other side of the town, there's another member over there. That's why I say, men, when we talk about this subject matter, yes, we are accountable. And we will be held accountable. Because they're going to be prices. There's a reaction. There's, like you say, reciprocation. Because if we don't, like I said, it's going to come back to bite. And that's what's happening today. Because we have not, because like I said, we not had reached far enough. We as individuals on this call right now, we all can do better. We all can be better. But, we have to, there's an old proverb I want to share, and I'm going to let our guests come back on and share some more information. But this thing I put in the newspaper, it says, a lion, a sheep can lead a sheep can lead an army of lions, and it won't nothing happen. But a lion can teach an army of sheep to defeat that other army. Because if the sheep teaches the lion, they're gonna think like a sheep.
Right.
They're gonna act like sheep.
Right.
But if that lion take those sheep and teach them how to be a lion, fight like have courage like a lion, then it will always defeat that other army. So we are lions. We have to teach our children, our community members, those who are conscious enough to go out there, who's godly enough to step up and step out and step in the gap. Because, like I said, I am you and you are me. You are my brother. Whether you like white, black, I don't care what color you are.
No, my brother, right?
I have a question. I have a question for Minister Allen. I have a question for you.
Can I just go ahead? Because I love this, man. This is what I live for, man. Oh my God, I love this. So much input, so much wisdom, so much knowledge, and everybody's perspective is on point. Everybody's perspective is on point, and what I've gleaned from all of this is really, first of all, when we look at it, it has about family, and when if you look at scripture, it talks about when I was a child, I thought as a child, and I did things as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. When is it going to be time for these babies that are having babies to put away childish things and actually start grabbing the babies that they are having and saying, okay, yeah, and actually learning from their experiences of like, okay, yeah, I may have messed up and I did this in my life, I did that, but now I'm gonna teach you how to be better. See, that's the thing. The parents or the mother or the father is not teaching them how to be better. If
Can I want to
anything,
jump in? I'm sorry.
if
Go ahead, sir.
anything, they're allowing the streets to teach them.
Well, I
They're
still
allowing
have
the
a question
streets
for Minister.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in here a second, if y'all don't mind.
Well, let him answer his question, then Brother Satai,
Go
you
ahead.
can take it from there.
When we look, Minister Allen, when I have a question for you. When you look at the society in your eyes, when you look at every black man, the family, like you say, do you think that this has become cultural? The issues at hand, has it gotten too far out of fetch where it now has become a cultural thing?
Oh, it's very cultural. It's very cultural because it goes back to generation. It has now been in this thing called the millennial age. It has been embedded in our culture. You have many now, especially here in America, where the rap scene and the hip hop scene was designed to break up the family home. If you look at my brothers and sisters, if you look at when you were older, I'm sorry, younger, you had a lot of sometimes black families where the family was knitted together. Oh, we're going over Big Mama's house, or we're doing this and this.
Like that TV show Full House, or I think it was.
We got our cousins over here, and we got our aunts and uncles over here. But now it's Big Mama is 35, 40 years old, while your mother's 18, 17,
Tell the truth.
21,
That's true.
You know
That's true. That's true. Well, we know there's an old.
So the structure is now manipulated. And it's sad because even in our culture now, it's cool to have 3, 4, 5 kids and not be married and not be tied down. And I got this baby mama over here, and I got that baby mama over there, and I got this baby mama over here. But yet you're not taking responsibility for any of it.
So there's a different path for some folks, though. There's a different path because my mother taught me that when you see somebody that needs something, if you can meet the need, meet the need. So I interpreted that to mean that if you saw somebody that had a need, you met the need. And what I did with that was adopt a child. Okay, not my kid, somebody else's kid. Some baby who didn't know nothing had a baby, left the baby. I got the baby. I went to go get
Nothing your
the
generation,
baby.
though.
No, but listen, wait, I'm not done. That kid that I went to go get at 22 years old, he thought that he had fathered the child. Okay, and listen to me because this is very important. He thought that he had fathered the child because he was hard-headed. He wouldn't listen to his mother. Look, I'm real. I'm straight up. It is what it is. And it's blue is blue. And I told him, don't be out in the street playing in the rain with no raincoat. Because you're going to come home all wet and you're going to be all mad. And you know what he did? He went out in the rain with no coat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he came home all wet and all mad because now he's got 18 years of responsibility and he don't want it. Well, too bad.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do this because this is you. Okay. 5 years, but this is the most significant point of the whole story. 5 years in, old hardhead has accepted the responsibility of fathering this child.
Wow.
And
Wow.
finds out
It's amazing.
Just not.
at 27, because he was 22 when the baby was born. When he turned 27, he found out that the baby that he had shouldered the responsibility of being the father was not his child.
My
That
gosh.
is not. That is no new news, Fran. Fran, listen to
Wait,
me.
no. That's not the issue. I'm not finished. Wait.
Finish. All right, go ahead.
Get to the meat. Where's the meat?
The 27-year-old man now who has shouldered the responsibility for 5 years for a child that he knows now is not his child, stood up in court and told the judge asked him, Mr. Allen, what are you going to do with respect to this child? And my son said, when he calls daddy, I'm going to answer.
Wow.
Because I'm the only father that he knows.
Awesome.
Amen.
That's
He
beautiful.
didn't get that out of a comic book.
Nah.
He didn't get that on the street corner. He didn't get that in the schoolhouse. He got that because in my kitchen, at my kitchen table, with his
Come on, girl.
father,
Come
his
on now.
adopted father.
Tell
It
it.
wasn't
Tell
just his
it.
daddy. It wasn't just his daddy. It was his mama too. And he was not our child, but he was our son.
That's
Amen.
right. Amen.
I just want to give a shout out to all of the
And he
men.
picked up the responsibility for that baby because it's just like you said, each one teach one. It takes a village, all of that stuff. This child has grown up. Now he's 10. He's going to be 11 this year. And you
It's
know
beautiful.
what? I'm still Nana. Pop-Pop is still Pop-Pop. And my son is still Daddy. And
That's
it's
beautiful.
about to be 6 years after that. So you can't tell me, tell a whole bunch of other people that, it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. It's a choice. You go back to the choice. It's a choice.
Go
You're
ahead,
going to
Fran.
choose to do right, or you're going to choose to do wrong, or you choose to do nothing.
But also, he grew up in a home where values mattered.
There you go.
That's the key.
Yeah, because I was not one of them babies that didn't know nothing.
Well, let me say this because the brother, our co-host, he did want to jump in. Brother Satire, you want to say something, sir?
Yes, I did. I wanted to contribute to the dialogue. It centers around a couple of things. Well, I'll
Contribute.
get it as quick as I can. One, it centers around, I heard the question of culture. It centers around the question of what is popular culture and what is national culture. Popular culture is, what's going on in terms of, people that influence you. But national culture is what it is that you self-consciously do to make your group better. And it
Right.
centers around three questions that we all must ask ourselves at the end of each day. At the end of each day, we have to ask ourselves the question, who am I? And if we say I'm a black man, or if we say I'm a Christian, or whatever, then the next question becomes, am I really who I say I am? That's where accountability comes in.
Okay. Good.
And then after that, you have to ask yourself, am I all I ought to be?
Say that one more time.
Am I all I ought to be?
Yeah.
And you can apply these three questions to everything in life that we stand up for. Who am I? Am I really who I say I am? And am I all I ought to be? And so, those are the three questions I ask myself at the end of each day, or when I'm laying in bed at night, I meditate on and make sure that I'm keeping myself accountable. I call myself a black man. What am I doing in relationship to what's going on in society? Am I contributing to a national culture, or I'm part of the popular culture?
I like that.
So I try to make sure I'm contributing to the national culture of self-conscious men that are doing things to uplift our community and our race, because we got to be race first. And popularly, I mean, hey, whichever way the wind blowing. I mean, that's what's going on. I mean, and I run into people at times that and I'm make this real quick and short and brief. But a couple of days ago, I was at the McDonald's, and I was there, and I was sitting in the uh, the waiting area, and I just happened to be glazing, across the room, looking out the window. I wasn't looking at nobody in particular, and one of the young people that was there asked me, said, "Man, what the fuck you looking at?" I said, "Excuse me." He said, "You better." He said, "You better." He said, "You better take and look in another direction." He said, "I come over there and whip that old ass."
Wow.
I said, "Brother, you don't want to do it." I said, "Brother, you don't want to do that." He said, "Why I don't want to do that?" He said, "What, you got an army or something?" I said, "Yeah, I got an army." I said, "I'm part of God's." I said, "I'm part of God's children." I said,
Amen.
and if you come over here messing with me like that, I said, God is going to release a bunch of damn angels on you, man. So you don't want it. You don't want that. He looked. He said, "You crazy ass motherfucker, ain't you?" I said, "If you want to call me that, you can." I said,
Brother
"Brother,
Satara, I know you keeping it real, but if you keep it real, okay. I'll go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah."
But
Hey,
go
Amen.
ahead.
so I just, shared with him. I said, brother, I said, you need to really think about your actions and what you're saying. I said, because I'm 67 years old. I say, hopefully you live to be this old,
Yeah.
or not, if not older. I said,
Yep.
but you really need to think about how you're carrying yourself. And so, I just wanted to get that in. But I mean, the key question around all of this is those three questions. Who am
Well,
I? Am I really who I say I am? And am I all I ought to be?
okay,
You know,
ladies and gentlemen on the call, we are approaching 8:30 because this is a very spirited and a very worthwhile conversation. But we're gonna have to close out shortly. But this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna let our special guest share in closing his thoughts, and we're gonna go around one time each and every individual on the call who wants to say something. This is the time to do so. But let me just say this before we get to that stage. I want to thank each and every one of you for being on this call because it's a much needed conversation. And I think we all agree that we are responsible for not only for our own actions, but we're also going to be responsible for those around who's watching our actions. Because like I say, directly or indirectly, you do make an impact, a powerful impact on people. Like people are watching you, they're watching us. And just by demonstration alone, we can have all the conversations in the world, but faith without works is no good. It's about demonstration. We have to be conscious enough, not only in our own being, but in the society. We have to step up, stand firm, because people lives, just like Brother Satabi said, that thing could have turned ugly. Just like Brother Onri Hector just mentioned when he was on the platform, that thing could have turned real ugly. It could have cost a life. Just because of
yes,
miscommunication, misunderstanding, or lack of knowledge, people perish, it is written.
mm-hmm.
That's
And people
right.
actually die. They die from because they don't know any better, or they think they know too much. But at the same
Yes,
time, let's be conscious enough from this point on to be responsible and stand firm and stand up. And we have to stand in the gap. To our guest speaker, before we close out, you want to share some closing thoughts, sir?
Yes, just real quick. We each have a responsibility, if it's young or old, to teach the next generation.
That's right.
And that's what, and really when it all boils down to it is we have to, within ourselves, like you said, take up the responsibility. We have to we have to search the knowledge, search for wisdom, search for understanding, even when it comes to like the financial goals of the house. Get your credit right, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know, how to get your credit right. It's more ways where you can live debt free. Not only that though, but college may not always be the answer. Get a trade.
Yep.
Plumbing, carpentry,
Some.
cement work, mechanics, truck drivers. I know a truck driver now that makes $250,000 a year. I mean, like there's other ways to get revenue besides selling poison to our brothers and sisters, and going to and always want to be a rapper or this or that. It's just our responsibility, like I said, to really teach the next generation how to be responsible, young, black, successful men
Okay.
and women.
If you'd like to, I understand you're an entrepreneur yourself.
I am.
What do you do, sir?
Right now I do wholesale.
Okay.
I have a construction business, and I do wholesale. I'm a concrete man by nature.
Okay, great.
I like to get my hands dirty. Yeah, but I also do wholesale as well.
Well, if you'd like to, would you like to leave contact information if somebody wants to get in touch with you?
Yes, you can contact me at HP Wholesale LLC. I'm sorry, HP Wholesale Co. at gmail.com. And right there, I'll give you all my inquiries. Just let me know what you're looking for. I deal in automobiles. I deal in household appliances. I deal in marble. I did a lot of things. I deal in mechanical parts. Yeah, I'm a wholesaler.
Okay, great. Okay, great. With that being said, before we go, there's a ladies first, and chivalry is not dead. And so, Fran Allen, in closing, you want to give out your information and the closing thought.
Yes, I am Fran Allen. Everybody on this call, if you don't know me, you will know me. God is a good God. This call has served to provide me with three things that I take with myself everywhere I go and try to give to everybody that I meet. You've motivated me, gentlemen. You have inspired me, and you have encouraged me. And I appreciate all of you for making that contribution into what is going to be arguably the best year of my life. It's about to roll right up into my
That's right.
2020 is it, and
That's right.
you
Put it into the
have
atmosphere.
all poured into what is the path that I am walking forward on, so that I can motivate, I can inspire, and I can encourage others as I go. And I'm gonna close with this. We don't have to go get another degree. We don't have to get another certification. We don't have to go get another trade. We all know tons of stuff that we don't even use to make money and put dough in our pocket and create income streams. You don't need a semi-truck to make money. You already got a pickup truck that you can use to clean up someone's yard. You don't need to go get a jackhammer to tear up the street. Get that rake and go clean the yard next door, because they need the yard cleaned and you need the money. You don't have to buy a bus to move some people around. You got a car, drive Uber, or Lyft or whatever. It's a mechanism to make money. You already have the materials that you need. We just don't have the wherewithal to put what we have in service of ourselves, as opposed to somebody else is never going to pay us what we deserve. They're never going to pay us what we are worth, and they're never going to pay us what we want. But that's not their job. Their job is to make their money, and our job is to make ours.
Right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Fran, you want to get out your number, Fran? You want to get out your number? 443-602-6194. 443-602-6194. And I do groups. I have a broad range of topics, and I'd love to be your speaker of choice. Okay, thank you. Vernon, do you want to share some information before we close? Vernon? Okay, we're gonna move right along. Mr. Walter Murphy, Walter Dempsey Murphy, want to share something in closing?
All right.
Mr. Murphy, you available?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Vernon.
Okay. Yeah, I have a guest caller by the name of Mr. Michael Townsmore. Are you on the call?
He may have to star six himself. Well, if not, well, go ahead, Vernon, give out your information in closing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You online?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, go ahead and talk about what you do and your involvement in different things in your business.
You got to make it brief, though.
The briefest possible. It's a vocational training session that empowers youth from ages 5 all the way up to 21. But, I like to say at the age of 18 because 21, they are kind of out there range. But it touches on the topic. I heard a lot of topics that, some offensive, but some more truthful than others. But the whole point of it all is, I see that you all have a big concern within the community. And this is the program that's not just controversial, but it's universal as well. So therefore, it can open up a lot of doors for not just our people, but bridging the gap between the relationships first, instilling the steel and solidness that needs to be in the Black communities, and then secondly, allowing us to unify.
Okay. You got to give out the information in party, how people can get in touch with you.
My name is Michael T. Moore. The name of the program is called Lifting Hands Mentoring Program. And you can reach me at 443-939-0623.
What's your name again, sir?
Michael Moore.
Do you know a guy named Brandon Booth?
I'm pretty sure I probably do.
Because this guy said something about your program before the other week. I just recognized that name, that program.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Do Brandon work with Joe Gable?
Well, he does mediation. So you can check him out. You ever heard of Engage Baltimore?
Not really sure.
All right, we'll talk after the show. We're running out of time.
Okay, yes. Vernon, you want to share your information in party?
My name is Vernon Streeter. I'm the National Events Director for the National Black Unity News. If you have any events or, wanting to come and be a part of anything that we're doing, my phone number is 443-473-7912.
And Mr. Walter Murphy.
Yes, sir.
Any parting words or contact information, sir?
Yes, I do have some parting words. One of the things that I've been listening to about this whole program, it's about our youth, and it's about Black men, and it's about relationships, and a lot of it has to do with what we're doing in the National Black Unity News by providing information such as that to help us get out of our own way, to help us to be more mindful and to be more productive in our own households. Okay, and one of the things that I am so appreciative of is all you guys, man. You guys are pretty sharp.
Thank you.
I'm one of them old heads, and one of the things I love hearing is the truth. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, and with that being said, we're going to go to our co-host, Mr. Satavi Jahi. Parting words, and you will share it.
Yes, sir. Parting words. We need to break the cycle of popular culture where youth have 3 main goals that they're interested in: becoming a basketball player, a rap star if that doesn't work, or selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
We need to break that cycle so that they can know that there's other ways to earn legitimate income. And my information is phone number 252-458-3712, website www.movements, that's MOVEMENTS UNLIMITED.net. That's movementsunlimited.net. You can go there, or you can give me a call, or you can text me at 252-458-3712. Back to you, Mr. Murphy.
Okay, Mr. Onri Hector, your closing words and your telephone number, sir.
All right. Thank you. This is Mr. Onri Hector. One of my closing words is, a quote from the Bible that says, as iron sharpens iron, so does a friend sharpen a friend. And in other words, we need to sharpen one another. Okay, as simple as that. We know that wood doesn't sharpen iron. Iron sharpens iron. Let us be iron. Let us get out there and sharpen each and everybody else. So my name is Onri Hector from the Onri Hector Show. And you can go on my website and check out all my information at www.onrihector.com. And you can check current events that are going on in the community, my next show or anything like that. And you can give me a call at 410-293-47. Once again, this is Onri Hector from the radio personality and motivational speaker, the Inspiration Station. God bless.
All right. And this is David Murphy, yours truly, co-host of the National Black Unity News podcast, also publisher of the National Black Unity News newspaper. Also, we also provide a nationwide black business directory. Now, I'm going to make a challenge to everybody on this call right now. You see, I was at a breakfast yesterday morning. I also belong to a group called Black Men Unifying Black Men. I also sit on the board of Maryland Council of Elders. And I've been around for a long time. I'm a quiet type of guy, but it's time to stop being quiet. It's time to make some serious noise because people are dying. People are perishing. And a lot of you, I just listened to you on this call this evening. A lot of you have some valuable information. And you can't put it under a bushel. You got to get your stuff out there because people can use your program. Your program may save somebody's life. So I'll give you an opportunity to participate with the National Black Unity News. Give me a call. Let's talk about it. We're not hard to get along with. This is what this thing is all about. This is a table that everybody can bring something to. And so if you have a service, a product so good that you know can enhance our people's quality of life, then you need to be involved with the National Black Unity News newspaper as well as its directory. And I can be reached at 443-455-2373. And the website is www.tnbun.com, the National Black Unity News.com. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we normally try to do an hour. We just went a little bit over. See, that's one thing about ownership. We control our narrative. We control our time.
That's right.
And so we don't have to answer to nobody. This is our thing. That's the power of it. And so with that being said, I thank each and every one of you for participating in this conversation, much needed. And I want to remind you that this is a pre-broadcast. Tomorrow, we add bells and whistles. We added some things out, noise as much as we possibly can. And it will be pretty much a production when we finish. So if you want a copy of this conversation that you can share with the masses out there, give me a call again at 443-455-2373, and I'll get you a copy of it, and you share with people, because like I say, information is powerful if you use it correctly. The information that we were sharing today can actually save someone's life or get somebody and still hope in others. And so with that being said, I'm saying good night to everybody.
Well, that's pretty much it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in on the show. It was a very good show talking about the real responsibility of the black man. I want to thank my guest, Chris Allen, Minister Chris Allen from Rehobeth of Baltimore, Rehobeth Church of God. Thank you for coming onto the show and just giving your input, your wisdom, and your feedback. I want to thank everybody on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube for tuning in onto my show. I appreciate you. And I want everybody to, go on there and subscribe to YouTube and click on that subscribe button. My name is Onri Hector, radio personality, motivational speaker, the Inspiration Station. I want you guys to continue to keep on watching my website at www.onrihector.com because I'm going to start doing some inspiration. We need that. We're living in times where people need to hear a good word. People need to hear inspiration. People need to hear things that's going to enhance the quality of their life. And I feel like I got something that I can share with you so we can help each other. Just like I said before, my motto this year is, as iron sharpens iron, so does a friend sharpen a friend. Okay? I want y'all to be the sharpening tools to sharpen one another. This is Onri Hector. God bless you and good night.